That dream again. It was the same one where Winter was surrounded by an inferno. While she believed she was going to burn to her death, the form of a mare reached out her hooves and pulled the filly into a world of love, safety, and serenity. She had that dream before, but now they appeared more frequently than ever before. On schedule, the young maidservants knocked, and Winter Tulip allowed them in for her morning ritual. Here, in her private bedroom, they bathed her, fixed her mane, and clothed her in her casual dress. These mares were sworn to secrecy to never reveal the status of Winter Tulip's nature's call, lest she suffer snickering embarrassments from her two supposed best friends. Both Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon had just recently revealed to her that they received their nature's call, and they would not stop talking about how their upcoming Quinceanera parties were going to be like. It bugged Winter to no end. At the same time, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon had yet to show or tell her what their nature's call looked like. Some friends they were. Not that she really cared, but if their names hinted anything, then the image on their flanks would reflect their bourgeois personality. In the great dining hall she had breakfast alone, relatively speaking. There were still servants standing around, ready to wait at her every desire, but it was not the same because there was no pony who would ever eat with her. The only other pony who had the right to do so on a daily basis would be her mother. Afterwards, cheerily dropped by at Winter's personal study in the room from across the bedroom. She was Winter's governess, although Gaia had long since abandoned such aristocratic titles after the revolution. Nevertheless, her official title was tutor, and aside from Lancer, she was the only adult pony Winter had spent any significant time with. She even had her personal, albeit modest room within the palace of the earth. After lessons and lunch, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon dropped by for their usual playdate on the palace grounds. For three civilized fillies, they didn't do much other than chat and trot. All her friends talked about were cute colts, servants, parties, and exotic gifts brought by their father's foreign business clients. As for Winter, she barely listened to their banter. She knew they were talking to her, but they weren't having a conversation. Half the words became muddled in Winter's mind. They were really starting to get on her nerves. "Winter, are you listening?" Diamond Tiara asked. "Is there something wrong?" asked Silver Spoon. They arrived at the door to Winter's bedroom, but Winter had stood still for almost a long minute, staring out to space. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon were still here, leeching off of her influence, which was in effect her mother's influence. At least leeches were in rapid chatterboxes. "Why are you two here?" Winter asked. "Isn't it obvious?" asked Diamond Tiara. "We're here to discuss the plans for my Quinceanera, and this was the only day you were open," said Silver Spoon. "Let's be serious," said Winter. "Your father sent you here to butter me up because of my mother." "What? No!" cried Diamond Tiara. "We're here because you're the nicest and most honest fillies of all of Gaia." "What's gotten into you, Winter?" Silver asked. "You've been acting funny ever since your birthday party." "Oh, I think I get it now. You received your nature's call, didn't you, Winter? Can you show it to us?" "Why haven't you shown me yours yet?" asked Winter. It's not polite to show one to any pony," said Diamond. "Did you ever consider asking me if I wanted to see them?" "If we did, then we could be bragging too much about ours," said Silver. "That it would be disrespectful to you." "But do you want to see them anyway?" asked Diamond. Her so-called friends were not smiling. They winced and sweated in fear. Fear of not losing their friendship for Winter, but from the fear of incurring the wrath of leader of Gaia, Chancellor Posey. The sycophantic foals were just like their parents, and Winter could not take it any more. "Get out," she said to them. "Sorry, Winter," said Silver, as she and Diamond Tiara stepped off the bed. "I guess we come back another day." "No, I don't want you back. I don't ever want to see you two ever again. Get out, now." The two fillies immediately burst into tears, but not because of hurt emotions. They feared for their life, and almost immediately they bolted out of the doors. Matron Harshwhinny, still with her muzzle bandages, chased after them, while cheerily arrived in time to console the angry filly. "Little miss, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," Winter cried. "Everything's wrong." Now, little miss, a lady should not have yelled at her friends like that. They're not my friends. They're just dumb fillies sent by their dads to suck up to me. Cheerily, is my mom home yet? She just got back from the military inspection, but there's a meeting coming up with the arms manufacturers. I don't think you could. Winter galloped past cheerily and down the long hallways of the palace, passing by many emotionless clown palace guards and the servant ponies who often froze stiff before her presence. No pony stopped her, and she was too fast for the frantic cheerily to catch up. Without even knocking, she burst into her mother's office. Posy was at her desk, with a glass loop on her eye, as she carefully pinned another dead butterfly on a corkboard for her to hang on the wall. The office might be large, but Posy was running out of places to mount her latest edition. She could always remodel the palace to make more room, just like all the other previous chancellors. "Yes, Winter?" Posy asked, as she kept her concentration on her dead butterflies. "Mama, can I sit by you?" Sure. Here's a stool." Winter trotted right next to her mother as she pinned another label for her new butterfly. Posy then drank down the strange green and gooey beverage she has been known to drink as long as Winter could remember. "I've overheard you, Mama," said Winter. "You told Big Brother Lancer that I was adopted." Posy spun her desk chair so that she faced her daughter, her adopt daughter. The Chancellor held back her tears and opened herself to receive her daughter. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you." "It's okay, Mama. Do you know where I came from? Or what my real name is?" Posy sighed, and she looked into her daughter's eyes. "I'm sorry, but that information was lost. There were a lot of orphans created by the Pegasus thunderbombing Appaloosa, and you were one of them. When I first saw you, it felt like I was looking at myself when I lost my family in Mustangia. You were just so adorable back then. Winter, I'm certain that I will find out who you are eventually. But know that I always be your mother and that I always love you. I am very sorry that I wasn't able to entertain you during your party." "Mama, you're the greatest chancellor in the entire world, but you're always so busy," said Winter Tulip. "I know, but that does not excuse me for neglecting my own daughter. Say, this might not make up for time lost, but do you want me to give you a horseback ride? I'm too old for those things, but why not? Hold on tight, partner, and giddy up." After placing her military hat on her daughter, Posy nudged her onto her back and then galloped straight out of the office. Laughing and giggling, Posy rode her daughter past the ruined library in the east wing, rode up to the spire's entrance, and then back down. They cantered through the private garden and went through the dining hall before trotting back to the office. There in the hallway, there was the head of arms manufacturing plants, Filthy Rich, and his personal guards. Winter slipped off her mother's back and gave back her head. "Good afternoon, Mr. Filthy," she greeted. "Rich, ma'am. Filthy Rich." Posy didn't take that correction kindly, and kindly did she remind him of his status with a single icy stare. Filthy will do, ma'am. I must apologize for my daughter's rude behavior towards little Miss Winter. I suppose this is a bad time for a meeting." No, it's fine. Apology accepted. Winter, I'm sorry, but I have an important meeting with Mr. Filthy over the future of our country. Go back with cheerily and resume the rest of your studies." "Yes, Mother," Winter bowed. Her mother, Filthy Rich, and the rest of the escorts went into the office. Cheerily, now short of breath, managed to catch up her personal pupil, and together they returned back to the study room. The bright moment of the day had been fleeting for the lonely filly. Her outburst to Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon lingered in the back of her mind. She continued to be preoccupied by her vivid dream of fire. She pinned the cause to appearance of that orange mare who broke into the palace, Rebel Applejack. Even before and after her lonely dinner did she continue to think about that pony. It wasn't anger, fear, or the dream that kept her awake during bedtime. That pony didn't seem like she wanted to torment Winter with lies. The more she dwelled upon it, the more Winter began to sense the genuine sadness emanating from Applejack's tears and the anger she directed towards her mother. The rebel did attempt to kill her mother, and that was unforgivable. Yet in the face of rationalization, Winter could not bring herself to truly despise the orange rebel. What if she was telling the truth? Why was Winter left with only one item connecting her to her real birthplace? Was her mother testing her? If anything apple-related manifested on her flank when she came of age, Winter became scared that her mother won't just execute her, she would hate her. Still unable to sleep, Winter grabbed hold of the fateful pink ribbon and made her way to the dresser mirror. She stared at her reflection, wondering if the filly at the other side was Winter Tulip, adopted daughter of the Honorable Chancellor Posey, or Applebloom, descendant of the great traitor Smart Cookie. Winter brushed her red mane thoroughly, and after assuring herself that there were no tangles, she used a pink ribbon to tie into a bow and a ponytail. This was certainly a new look for her, yet somehow it looked right. "I'm not an apple," Winter repeated in her mind. "I'm not an apple." She needed confirmation that would not be the case, and late at night she trotted down to Cheerily's room and knocked on the door. "Little miss," Cheerily drowsily answered, whilst in a nightgown. "Is there something wrong?" "There is. I need to go to Sweet Apple Acres as soon as possible." Never did Applejack have a warm night's sleep in a long while. The body-sized pillow she hugged tightly was the softest and warmest thing she had ever touched. It even had a heartbeat. Body-sized pillow? Soft touch? Adjusting her eyes to the darkness, the face was right up close to the pink pony's muzzle. Okay, Pinkie Pie fell asleep in the same bunk. That would happen eventually. Would be no different from her sharing a bed with Twilight. Then again, Twilight never slept naked next to her. After sliding her hoof down her own body, Applejack discovered that she was also naked. Naked. Assuming the worst, Applejack let out a scream so loud that maybe a few of the stallions at the other wing heard it. She shoved Pinkie off her bunk, leapt over her, and ran quickly to the other side of the cell to procure a bottle of sarsaparilla from the toilet. "What did you do to me?" Applejack cried as she waved the bottle in self-defense while attempting to cover her flanks. "I took off your clothes," Pinkie answered. "What kind of sick mare are you? You think you can take advantage of my feelings and sleep with me? That wasn't really my intent, but our clothes were smelly, so I had to take them off. Then I got too tired to crawl to my bunk, and I was getting cold, so I shared a bed with you, 'cause you're so warm and fuzzy. No, oh no, you stay away from me. I ain't swinging like that." "What do you mean?" "I don't go for mares. I like stallions." "Stallions. So you don't like being friends with mares?" "No. I mean, look, just don't you ever do that to me again. Ever again. Okay? Go back to the top bunk and stay there until I wake up." "Sorry." "And put your darn pants on." "Fine." Pinkie slipped her pants on, with Applejack trying hard not to look, but the image of 3 balloons, 2 blue and 1 yellow, had been permanently burned into her mind. After Pinkie settled herself in her bunk, the orange pony immediately drank down the bottle until she realized where she got it. She nearly hurled, but instead she held it and dropped the bottle back into the toilet for it to be flushed. Applejack made doubly sure Pinkie and her baby alligator were asleep before she climbed back to her bunk. She shivered, but at least she was alone and had pants. What a night! "Wakey, wakey!" "I told you not to come down when I woke up." "But now you're up. It's going to be a beautiful day, AJ." "Ugh, I'm not in the mood." "Neither is the guard. Gotta get up and start the day." The stern look on the guard at the other side of the bars was the real alarm clock. Angry, tired and embarrassed, Applejack started her day at the wrong side of the bunk, so to speak. She grumbled every time Pinkie bounced up and down behind her, and grumbled again when she attempted to order yogurt parfait from the half-dead Mrs. Cake. She found herself sitting with Pinkie, either because she was an apple or that there was no other vacant seats. Yet again, she sat across from Lucy and the quirky screw, no relation, who tried their hardest to hide their giggles from the rebel mare. "Very funny," said Applejack. "That's Pinkie Pie for you," said Lucy. "I bet she didn't get arrested for being a mass murderer. I bet she's a serial rapist." or just a serial molester. You should lighten up, Rebel Applejack. You won't get these laughs anymore. Pinky's going to be released tonight. Thank the earth. That's funny, said Quirky. I thought you'd be sad about that. Why would I care about this lewd and insane pony? And why the hell are you saying nice things about her? I thought you weren't her friend. Why not? Said Lucy. She drives us nuts most of the time. At least once in a while she'll manage to find a way to upset Lieutenant Quake, and Quirky and I make sure we're there when it happens. There will be some who will miss her, said Quirky as she rolled her baseball gift from yesterday back and forth on her table. I wonder how long will it be when she gets arrested again. They all spoke within earshot of the pink pony in question, who happily devoured another stale cornbread Quirky gave her. Applejack couldn't put her hoof on it, but she felt that there was a little more despair in the air. Pinky continued to bounce and make noises. Pinky continued to sing the most inappropriate songs in the most inappropriate times. Some mares smiled, some didn't, but today felt weirdly different. It wasn't yet dinner, but a special tray was given to Pinky in her and Applejack's on the hour before her release. It was still the same mush they served as usual, but this time it had sugar and sprinkles. A modest improvement, but Applejack did feel a little envious and a little sad. It felt more like she was going to the gallows. The pink pony was given her clothes from storage, which was a plain grey government-issued dress meant low-income mares. She was also given patched saddlebags where she began gathering her personal belongings she managed to hide all over the cell. She even procured 2 bottles of sarsaparilla from the toilet. I left a 6-pack in there. Should you ever get thirsty? Said Pinky. Sure, said Applejack, as she buried her muzzle in one of the books about farm equipment she borrowed from the library cart. Please don't feel sad, AJ. I'll remember to ask for your permission the next time I want to sleep naked with you. Not in your life. Why are you still here anyway? It's not yet 6, so I got a few minutes to chat with you before I go. Fine. What do you want to talk about? Who's Twilight? Applejack blushed. I don't know what you're talking about. You keep repeating her name during your sleep. Is she your mare friend? She isn't. And how the hay did you figure out that she's a she? That's because only mares are named Twilight, like the first unicorn. So, what's she like? She is someone who shouldn't have died for my sake. I'm sorry. She must have been a special friend. I guess you can say that. AJ, don't be sad forever. I'll be your special friend. Don't you know who I am? I'm Rebel Applejack, an apple, a terrorist. And? Why in the wide world of Gaia would you want to get involved with me? 'Cause I know that you're hurting inside, and you're a pony who needs some pony to cheer you up. That's why I'm here. All the ponies who end up here are always sad, and it's up to me to go in and cheer them up. By getting arrested? I tried getting a job here, but I couldn't hold it down. I'm always clumsy, I keep breaking things, or I keep breaking into song. But I found a loophole that I get to play around with the criminals if I get arrested myself. I kinda wish I could see the prison stallion smile, but I have heard that when the male guards tell them about me, they become happy. There's something else you have to be good at. Don't you have any other family? None that I know of. Don't you want to go somewhere else other than here? Nothing comes to mind. Then why here? Why Rock Prison of all the places? Because it reminds me of my home, and because I was born here. Ah, here's the guard. Gotta go and sign some papers. The government of Gaia loves to receive my signatures. She fitted her saddlebags onto her back just as Gummy slipped into one of them. The poofy pony followed the guard when she was let out, and down the hot walkway the prisoner's eyes trailed her as she happily bounced up and down past them. Then she was gone. Born here? Applejack could imagine her mother getting arrested while she was pregnant, or raped within these prison walls. This Pinkie Pie, by some cruel twist of fate, considers this her home, and it was here that she might have both the best memories and her worst mixed up in this dark pit. Applejack could feel it within the pink pony's words, her insurmountable sadness beneath her bright facade. Yet, Pinkie somehow found a way to continue marching on. Dinner came and went, and Applejack returned alone in her cell, to feel the weight of emptiness upon her. She didn't do much reading from her borrowed books, and she paced within her cell in her thoughts. The pink walls were still here, but there was no pink pony. When the lights turned off, there was utter silence. Profound silence. On the next day, the morning felt a lot colder and depressing. The previous day, she felt anger. She felt anger at her cellmate's lewd acts. Today, she didn't feel anything, and neither did the other prisoners. Everything felt dead, and even Mrs. Cake appeared deader than usual. Applejack sat with Lucy and Quirky again out of habit, but none of them spoke to one another. Quirky barely ate, and had to force herself to chew through the wretchedness of her cornbread. All she did was roll the baseball up and down the table the whole time. Even though her group in the mines was scheduled for half-day only, Applejack found the work to be more excruciating than usual, and it was the same type of work she did when she first arrived here. She now noticed the full extent to the aches and pain to her joints and muscles, and she barely had enough spirit to keep her hoofs moving. Some of her fellow prisoners seemed worse off, and there was stern yelling and a couple of warning shots from the guard. Why was today any different? There wasn't any pink pony to distract them with stupid jokes, stupid puns, and stupid songs. There was just no way that she was the source of the prison's motivational energy. After the mining shift, Applejack and her block were ordered to perform some domestic work as part of the weekly rotation with the other groups. She was ordered to tow back and forth piles of soiled linen between storage and the laundry complex. She passed by Golden Harvest a few times, but on the last time, she mustered up the motivation to speak with Applejack. "Somebody wants to take a hit on you," Harvest whispered. "About time," said Applejack. "Can you tell me who?" "Not right now. They're probably watching. 5 minutes before the shift ends in the laundry room." Maybe there was hope after all. Pinkie Pie wasn't necessary, but there should be at least one pony that would make living in this hellhole a lot more worthwhile. Written down on the carotene of her hoof the time and location of her meeting with Harvest, and made sure she remembered her way back to her group before their work shift ended. Alone, Apple entered the laundry room, but not for work. There was sufficient light. The long line of massive dryers loomed over the lone mare with eyes of diode and with gaping glass mouths ready to devour her. Places like this should be busy, but yet it was not. "Harvest?" she cried out. "You in here?" Suddenly, a hoof punched the back of her head. Before she could back up, a pair of glamoured prison mares grabbed her front legs and dragged her before a white-maned and blue pony who sat on a pile of laundry like a queen. Beside her was Harvest, Applejack's new Judas. "Applejack, I'm sorry," said Harvest as she lowered her head in shame. "Wunderbar," smiled the blue pony. "We finally meet again, Rebel Applejack." "Do I know you?" "You do recognize the greatness that is I," the blue pony cried as she struck a pointed pose. I knocked out a lot of blue ponies. You gotta be more specific." Yes, vision. Mine eyes." The blonde-maned and brown-coated mare ducked into a pile of linen and gave the blue pony something that she put on her glasses. It was the same pony with the big and gaudy magenta shades who pirated the broadcast back at the station, and the same pony who tried to take her element of truth so many years ago. She was photo finish, ex-president advisor of information control.